Good morning at 6:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Erin's off today and tomorrow, but back on Monday. Matt has local news in a second. What you got, kiddo?
We had a shooting yesterday, 11-year-old girl wounded. We'll have all the details on that. DeSoto Fire District is maybe getting a new leader, finally. And those states rolling out some cool new technology.
On Friday, no. See, I keep thinking today's Monday. On Tuesday, we talked with Chief, what is Darden?
CAO, is that what it is?
No, the Chief of Discipline. And we talked about the state bond rating upgrade, and Matt and I have done a lot of reading and research on this, and I got to tell you, the more we find out, the more confusing and it makes your head want to explode.
My head hurts. I want to pound it into a wall and possibly beat somebody up.
That's why we're going to talk about that all morning long. Plus, Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. It's all coming up this hour, and it's here on KEEL.
Information. KEEL News now.
A 4th of July argument ends in gunfire. A dispute between a large group of women at the Bayou Oaks apartments on Grimmett Drive turned into a shootout. A man was shot twice in the back. An 11-year-old girl was also wounded in the incident. Witnesses say they heard as many as 10 gunshots. A possible suspect is in custody. One man is dead after flipping his pickup truck in DeSoto Parish. Larry Maroney was traveling on LA 177 when he lost control of his vehicle, became airborne, and hit a tree. Maroney was not wearing a seatbelt and was partially ejected from the truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers believe speed and impairment played a role in the crash. The DeSoto Fire District 8 is getting close to naming a new leader. The district has been without a permanent fire chief since last fall. William DeLoach has been serving as interim fire chief since November and is among the 13 finalists being interviewed for the job. No word has been given when a new fire boss will be named. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of the shooting death of Alton Sterling by Officer Blaine Salamone. Since then, legislation has been passed to try to address the gap in trust between some Louisiana communities and law enforcement. Baton Rouge Rep. Ted James says they've had some initial success with programs aimed at increasing training for cops on how to interact with communities they serve.
It's the curriculum that I get a lot of calls about when I see officers in the street, especially new cadets, as they're telling me that they really appreciate it, and it's a deeper dive into what's actually happening in the community.
However, James says there's still a long way to go to repair that bridge. Next time you get carded, you could have the option of pulling out your smartphone instead of your billfold. Kevin Barnhart explains.
It's called LA Wallet, and it's available now for iPhone and Android devices. Commissioner at the Office of Motor Vehicles, Karen St. Germain, says for just $6, users can display photo ID from a phone. St. Germain says it's emerging tech Louisiana is getting before any other state.
There'll be questions along the way. We're more than happy to answer them, work through them, but this is an option.
The new option can be quite convenient in many situations.
Whether you're going into the airport, you can use your smartphone to check in. This will be another thing on your phone ready to be handed and not carrying 4 things in your hand.
I'm Kevin Barnhart.
Sakoni Jones, the woman accused of shoplifting 11 bottles of booze in her bra and pants, is in court this week fighting the charge. Well, it's hard to dispute the video of Jones stuffing $750 worth of liquor in the various parts of her body. Her lawyers are arguing whether or not the crime is a felony. Jones has been arrested for shoplifting at least 9 times. There's also a case pending against Jones for stealing over $500 worth of meat and other items from a Shreveport supermarket. And over 2,000 runners participated in this year's Firecracker 5K in Shreveport. The female winner was Rachel Corigliano from Bossier City. Her husband is an airman at Barksdale. The male winner was Jarrett LeBlanc from Lafayette. One of the participants, Jay Mueller, ran the race in full firefighter gear to represent all first responders. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Nine past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, morning traffic. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 westbound's got to clear all the way to Dallas right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 south near East 70th Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayart.
Am I on camera?
Yes, you are.
I'm on camera.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much to cover today.
Oh, God, do we?
And I don't know this whole bond. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 12 past 6 o'clock. Erin is off today. She'll be back on Monday. As we try to tackle. Now, believe me, if I were listening to the radio and I heard a talk show guy say we're going to talk about state general obligation bonds and try to explain them, but we really can't, because the more we find out about it, the more complex and in some parts insane it becomes. I mean, the question, the biggest question I have is if the state of Louisiana can go out and sell bonds, i.e. borrow money for $303 million every year, and it's about $300 million every year. If the state can go out and do that to pay for things, what was the whole budget fight about?
How much we're going to pay our credit cards? I mean, is that what it was about? Like, all right, instead of giving them $200, we're going to give them $300 this year.
I don't know, but that was such the overriding thought. I could not get that out of my head. Municipal. Here we go. This is from MinuetGuide.com. State of Louisiana featured municipal bond issue. I know, and people are listening, going, "What are you talking about?"
We might as well be explaining physics, but you know.
Okay. So we had Commissioner of Administration Jay Darden on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man, this holiday in the middle of the week is horrible. So we had Commissioner of Administration Jay Darden on Tuesday talking about the fact that Moody's has upgraded Louisiana's financial outlook. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, because some news sources, some articles called it the bond outlook, the credit outlook, the bond rating, the credit rating, and in reality, you tell me it's none of those.
No, it's the financial outlook, which could affect your bond rating down the road. Basically, we're still in the crapper as far as that goes. We're like 2 notches below the median average for every other state in the country.
Right.
But with this improvement, it can go up in the future.
So we had Mr. Jay on and talking about that sort of credit outlook upgrade. What's the official name? I'm going to write it down, I swear to God.
Financial, I don't have it in front of me because I got the...
yeah, but you did a lot of reading on
But
that.
it's the financial outlook of the state.
State financial outlook. And what Mr. Jay said was that the primary reason that Louisiana's financial outlook was upgraded by Moody's Investor Service, the biggest reason that we were upgraded from negative to stable was because the legislature passed, at the governor's behest, the 7-year temporary sales tax at 4.45%. He sort of implied, no, he just came out and said that was the biggest reason, right?
Yeah.
And so I asked, and we're going to have Secretary of Treasury John Schroeder on this morning to try to get an answer to the same question. And I wrote this down Friday afternoon.
Tuesday.
I wrote this down Tuesday afternoon. It's hard to have any credibility if you can't get the day right.
It's so confusing, it screws up our timeline.
So, I wrote this down on Tuesday. So, I wrote to myself, and we asked Jay this. We have the 4.45% sales tax for 7 years. And Mr. Jay said the steady stream of money to the state was the biggest reason that Moody's gave us the upgrade. But what difference does it make how much money the state takes in if we spend it all? In other words, if we have $10 billion in the state general fund budget, which is about what it's going to be this year, if we have $10 billion because of an increased tax, or we have $7 billion because we had to make cuts, the state is still going to spend everything that's in that general fund budget. So if we don't have any extra, you go to buy a house, you go to buy a car, they ask for your bank account. They want the routing number on that check. They want to see how much you've got. If it's zero, it seems to me in the real world, and this is where it will all tie together later, because as we said, the more we find out about this, the more we realize that governments do things that in the real world just could never happen. People would laugh at you. You go to buy a car, you go to buy a house, they look at your bank account. If you've got zero money, if you are making $1 million a year and you got nothing in the bank account, they're going to look at you twice.
Yeah.
If you make $25,000 a year and you've got zero in the bank account, your chances aren't good. So I'm wondering, what's the difference? If we spend it all, What's the difference? How does that? And yet Jay Darden said, Commissioner of Administration, told us it's that 7-year tax. It's the money coming in. It's the stability of the cash flow.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. To the best of my understanding from all the research I've done, this is sort of like the state of Louisiana was a car crash victim. You know, like we were it was a life-threatening injury. We got rushed to the ER. And then, you know, before they can do surgery or anything, when you're in shock, you got to get stabilized. Basically, this tax stabilized us before we can go in for an operation. Because we got a lot of issues we got to fix.
But we don't have any money from that tax. They're going to spend it all.
I know.
I've said this 1,000 times over the last month. It's Erin's line about state government and spending. A 17-year-old with a $100 bill at a strip club. There's no change.
No, he ain't coming out with any dollar bills.
So that's why we're going to have Secretary of Treasury guy John Schroeder on this morning at about 7. I mean, I've got a ton of questions. Primarily, what was the whole budget fight about? If we turn around, look, let me read this to you guys, okay? Because it gets crazier and crazier. Featured bond comes from the state of Louisiana. The state of Louisiana, this is from 2017. The state of Louisiana is issuing general obligation bonds in the amount of $303 million in the week of September 11 of 2017. These general obligation bonds are being issued as a single tax-exempt series. The proceeds from these general obligation bonds are set to be distributed as follows. Education, $68 million.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were asking, what would if you're going to go out, if the state of Louisiana is going to go out and borrow more money, which is basically what a bond is. You're selling bonds, you're going to pay interest. If you're going to go out and do bonds to get whatever it is you need, what was the budget fight about? If that's not really what the amount is. For example, and we'll ask Mr. John Schroeder when he comes on. How many times have we had Sean Wilson, Dr. Sean from the DOTD on?
Oh, God, dozens.
$600 million. I need $600 million. I need $600 million just to maintain Louisiana roads the way they are, Dr. Sean says.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big budget fight, and part of it was funding DOTD. But then on top of it, DOTD floats the state of Louisiana for DOTD floats $106.7 million more in general obligation bonds. So whatever their budget is, they're going to get another $106.7 million, that I assume that number is based on what they say their needs are, to pay for stuff.
It's crazy. It makes no sense. No. It's illogical. I just don't know.
Quality of life, 37. Hold on. When we come back, do you realize the state of Louisiana, what's it called? NGO.
Non-governmental organizations.
Non-governmental organizations. The state of Louisiana is borrowing money, i.e. your tax dollars, because tax dollars, general obligation bonds, can be paid back with tax dollars. Mm-hmm. So what's happening is the state of Louisiana is borrowing money to pay for things that have nothing to do with state government. 20 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 westbound's got to clear all the way to Dallas right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 south near East 70th Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL Sports.
Good morning. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher. The Houston Astros knocked off the Texas Rangers 5-4 in 10 innings on the nation's Independence Day. Evan Gattis had a sac fly in the top of the 10th, was the game winner. Yuli Gurriel homered and doubled for the Astros, who overcame a 4-0 deficit to pick up the win. Joey Chestnut broke his own record by scarfing down 74 hot dogs in the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. 74 hot dogs, the top 8 hot dog eating contest record numbers belong to Joey Chestnut. And Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm broke his hand in what ESPN is terming a freak boating accident. The bone break is in his non-throwing left hand. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Gee whiz. My head's about to explode.
I'm so confused.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin, 25 past 6. I mean, literally, there's so many things going on in my head right now about this topic that I can barely put together a sentence that has nothing to do with the topic we're talking about. The Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. I ask you that because I want you to text us and let me know if any of this is making any sense. We went to the break and I said to Matt, does any of this make any sense? I mean, it kind of makes sense to me, but then I'm breaking it down sentence by sentence and it goes in so many different directions.
Basically, we're talking in circles, but it's not your fault because
it goes in circles.
Because basically, we're lost in a maze of crap, and we don't know which way. If we were in Shawshank, we don't know which way's to the river.
From the Shreveport Security Systems text line, 318-392-1884. It does work the same way in the real world. High stock values equals low loan interest to borrow and expand and conduct daily operations. And in that regard, yes, 100%. Because by getting a Moody's upgrade, Louisiana will be able to sell bonds at a lower interest payback rate, so it won't cost taxpayers as much. But I'm back to my initial question. So we've got because Mr. J said, Jay Darden, Commissioner of Administration, I'm going to reread what I wrote on Tuesday. So we have the 4.45% sales tax for 7 years. And Jay said that it was that steady stream of money to the state that was the biggest reason that Moody's gave us the upgrade. But what difference does it make how much money the state takes in if we spend it all? And I liken it to this. Imagine you go to buy a car and you tell the finance guy at the car place, listen, I made $50,000 last year. And I got a $25,000, I got a 50% raise. I'm making $75,000 now. And the finance guy looks at it and says, yeah, but in your bank account, you don't have any money. You spent it all. You got nothing left. You got you got $25,000 a year raise, but you You've spent it all. So how does this benefit if Louisiana, believe me, we're not having anything left over. We're borrowing stuff, which is the whole purpose of the bonds. So my question is, and hopefully Treasurer Schroeder will be able to explain, if we don't have the money, what difference does it make how much money we have?
I'm just assuming that this helps us get another credit card, basically. Like, all right, we're doing such a good job paying this one off. We need more.
No. I told you on Tuesday, I've got friends like this.
I'm not saying it's a good idea.
Borrowing credit cards to pay off, getting new credit cards to pay off old debt, where you've got it's like credit card juggling. And you sort of stagger the monthly payments so that you're borrowing from A to pay B, borrowing from B to pay C, and eventually that house of cards collapses.
Robert, maybe that explains why our finances in this state have been in the crapper for the past decade, because we've been doing that for so long.
Okay. This is Schroeder's comments last week on the Moody's upgrade. I'm sorry, Monday or Tuesday on the Moody's upgrade. This is good news, but we have much more work to do to implement structural reform to our budget. The fiscal cliff. Oh, wait till we come back from the break. Cliff. Did we find a soundbite from our Jay Darden interview? Do you think that was a mistake? Do you think it slipped?
No, I think he was talking about like the general.
Wait till we come back from break. Hang on a second. But let me finish the Schroeder remarks. The fiscal cliff was mainly solved on the revenue side, i.e. the 7-year sales tax. Mm-hmm. Now it's time to get to work on the spending side of the problem, extending temporary taxes for 7 years with no real structural reform doesn't sit well with me. Treasurer Schroeder joins us this morning at 7:40. Mm-hmm. Oh, do we have lots of questions? Once again, Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Are Matt and I making any sense at all? 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Local news is next. Right now, here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. There'll be a thunderstorm around this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
A 4th of July argument ends in gunfire. A dispute between a large group of women at the Bayou Oaks apartments on Grimmett Drive turned into a shootout. A man was shot twice in the back. An 11-year-old girl was also wounded in the incident. Witnesses say they heard as many as 10 gunshots. A possible suspect is in custody. A Forbes report shows Louisiana is the state most at risk of being economically crippled by the escalating trade wars initiated by the Trump administration. Matt Doyle has that story.
The report says 21% of the state's GDP comes from international exports, 5% from China and Mexico alone. Those sectors would be hard hit if a full-blown trade war were to break out, but Congressman Garrett Graves says something needs to be done after decades of unfair trade practices.
Look, if we try and take a scalpel approach, China's going to find a way around it. We have to go blunt.
He says Chinese trade practices have a big effect on major industries the U.S. economy relies upon.
That undermines not just our economy and our domestic facilities and jobs, it undermines our defense industry.
I'm Matt Doyle.
A large part of Sarepta is under a boil advisory due to a water main break. The area between Highway 802 and Porterville Road will remain under a boil advisory until repairs to the main are complete. Over 2,000 runners participated in this year's Firecracker 5K in Shreveport. The female winner was Rachel Corigliano from Bossier City. Her husband's an airman at Barksdale. The male winner was Jarrett LeBlanc from Lafayette. One of the participants, Jay Mueller, ran the race in full firefighter gear to represent all first responders. A House rep is preparing to run for Secretary of State. Republican Representative Rick Edmonds has announced he will be running for Secretary of State in the fall election. Edmonds says he anticipates it'll be a lot of work, but one of his goals is to increase voter turnout.
We're going to work hard. We're going to meet everybody we can, knock on every door we can, try to introduce ourselves to the public the best we possibly can.
Edmonds says another one of his top priorities is the security of state elections. One man is dead after flipping his pickup truck in DeSoto Parish. Larry Maroney was traveling on LA 177 when he lost control of his vehicle, became airborne, and hit a tree. Maroney was not wearing a seatbelt and was partially ejected from the truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers believe speed and impairment played a role in the crash. Another man is clinging to life after being hit by an SUV in Shreveport. According to police, the victim was crossing the road at North Market and Arrow Drive when he was hit. Officers say the driver was taken into custody for standard testing, but no word on whether or not they'll be facing charges. The DeSoto Fire District 8 is getting close to naming a new leader. The district has been without a permanent fire chief since last fall. William DeLoach has been serving as interim fire chief since November and is among the 13 finalists being interviewed for the job. No word on when a new fire boss will be named. And Sakoni Jones, the woman accused of shoplifting 11 bottles of booze in her bra and pants, is in court this week fighting the charge. Well, it's hard to dispute the video of Jones stuffing $750 worth of liquor into various parts of her body. Her lawyers are arguing whether or not the crime is a felony. Jones has been arrested for shoplifting at least 9 times. There's also a case pending against Jones for stealing over $500 worth of meat and other items from a Shreveport supermarket. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
One oh one 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. I'm exhausted. I don't do math well. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. I had asked on all this bond stuff for the state of Louisiana, were we making any sense? And it's split 50-50. It's, yeah, y'all are awesome.
Kinda.
I don't know. Y'all are just boring the hell out of me. Stop it.
Yeah, can we talk about something else? It's making my head. I feel like I just ate like a big gallon tub of ice cream and I got the brain freeze going on.
Okay, let's talk about Saucony Jones.
Oh boy.
Give everybody a quick update on now. If you don't remember who Saucony Jones is,
she was the young lady who was accused, videotaped at a thrifty shoplifting 11 bottles of booze worth over $750 into her bra, into her pants. She basically had the magic school bus. She took like a half gallon of liquor, put them in her pants, and they disappeared.
It was the into the pants part that made her famous. Ta-da! I'll tell you what. We'll go to break here in a couple of seconds. When we come back, you can give us updates. But basically, it's evidently her crack legal team is claiming that it's not a felony. Is that what they're saying?
Basically, because they're like, well, retail's $750, but really, with the cost to the liquor store, it's only like $300, so it's not a felony charge.
So basically, what they're saying is, we'll discuss this when we got to go. Trust me, this is worth sticking around for. 639, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Ruben's here. Traffic update.
Looks like I-20 westbound's got it clear all the way to Dallas right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 south near East 70th Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. At 7:40 this morning, State Treasurer John Schroeder, and we're going to talk bonds and stuff, which may make our heads explode. I'm telling you, man, it just so to me seems like either a hustle or a house of cards. It's one of the two, and I'm not sure which it is.
I just hope he has more answers than we do, because if he doesn't have answers, we're just screwed.
We in a lot of trouble. Speaking of a lot of trouble, okay, who remembers Saucony Jones? Saucony Jones was the young woman who was it a year or so ago?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Was videotaped at a local thrifty liquor, and she was stuffing bottles of liquor into her
bra, pants. 11 bottles. And these weren't like the small half pints or anything. These were full, like, fists and liters of liquor.
Into her bra and her yoga pants and her
she was just sticking them anywhere.
It was more like a piece of luggage. and so basically she was arrested. And has been awaiting her court date. So what's the latest with? And believe me, this video, because it was like David Blaine. It was like David Copperfield. I mean, basically, these bottles of whatever it was were about the size of the Statue of Liberty, and they vanished.
She put them in their pants, and they were gone. It was like the magic school bus, man.
We don't know where they are. We don't know. Maybe they went to another universe, another dimension. The point being, I hope she enjoyed them. So give us the update. Read your news story from earlier this morning.
Well, she was in court Monday, pled not guilty.
Pardon me just a moment. we have on Ms. Siccone's Facebook page from the date you make reference to, and photos of her smiling. On my way to court, Lord, whatever you see fit, I give it to you. Through it all, I am still smiling. Please continue.
Well, she was in court Monday, pled not guilty, and while it's hard to dispute the video of Jones stuffing $750 worth of liquor in the various parts of her body,
the question is, was it still, was it really $750?
Yeah, her lawyers are arguing whether or not the crime's a felony. They're trying to say, well, the liquor may have been worth $750, but you guys only paid like $300. So is it really a felony?
So let me see if I got this right. What they're saying is that the determination of the amount of theft that makes something a felony as opposed to a misdemeanor should now be based on the business's cost rather than the retail price.
Well, their argument, from what I read, it's kind of hard to take any of this too seriously, but from what I read,
this is very serious.
I guess the management or owners of the liquor store told the police one number, and then there was another number that was getting, in the prosecution, so they're trying to debate that.
Now there is a certain history to.
Is there ever?
Okay, now as I recall, after this first video went so viral, after the video came out from Thrifty Liquor, that she had posted on her Facebook page something to the effect of
stealing's what I do and I'm damn good at it.
Basically, that was it, yeah.
But she's been arrested at least 9 times for shoplifting after she made the post and all that, and people figured out who she was.
There was, what's the kid's name? Is it? And he's a kind of a local Facebook legend.
Timmy
the reporter.
Yeah,
is that
Timmy
it?
Lane, something like that.
Timmy Lane, that's it. And he's a local kid, and I want to say early to mid 20s.
Yeah,
and. I mean, this little guy he has no fear. He will go.
He will do anything.
He will go with his camera, with his cell phone, and video to anybody, anywhere. And he interviewed her, and she broke down in tears,
all crying, and I'm never going to do it again, and I'm so sorry.
She was extremely contrite for about 36 hours.
Yeah, because shortly after this, she stole allegedly. She got arrested for stealing over $500 worth of meat and other items from a Shreveport supermarket. So there's another case pending against her as we speak.
She's giving it all to the Lord, She's putting it all in God's hands.
This is just so frustrating to me.
I'm assuming.
How the hell do you get busted a dozen times and, just get out and do it again?
Because that's what you do, because that's what you're good at. Okay, when Steve Parr was here on Monday from American Ground Radio, we had discussed, and he had brought, we talked at length, spent about 2 segments on the situation, illegal immigration, and the current situation at the border. And I had made the point that lawsuits were coming, and in fact, that evening, I saw the headline about a federal judge had said that ICE, that the federal government, that the United States shouldn't be allowed to detain illegal immigrants at the border because detention centers, I jotted this down, detention centers are overcrowded, hence inhumane, hence people must be released.
Yeah, just release them back on the other side of the border. I'm good with that.
The judge also said you can't do that because, well, we'll get into that just a bit later. But one of the topics that Steve brought up from American Ground, weeknight 6 till 7 here on Q with Louis R. Avalone, one of the topics that Stephen brought up was that part of the reason that all this goes on, I want to find it real quick. It was the Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, the president-elect of Mexico. And he was the guy, you've heard us talk about this 100 times. He's the guy who is now president-elect of Mexico, won in a landslide. And basically what he said is that all Mexicans and Central Americans who seek refuge, who seek asylum, who seek a new life, economic or otherwise, in the United States should be allowed to go. So basically the guy who was elected president of Mexico is saying to the poor people in Mexico,
leave.
We can't help you.
Get the hell out.
Go north. They've got free stuff. If you stay here, you're screwed. You go ahead.
Well, I just, there's been all this talk about border security and the wall and stuff. I just came up with a genius idea.
What's that?
Instead of building this wall, we should just put a little steel fence, like a velvet rope, across the border and hire the biggest and baddest bouncers from every bar in America.
Like at a nightclub.
Hey, you got proper papers? No,
Now,
get out of here.
The interesting thing about Lopez Obrador, AMLO as he is referred, the interesting
Elmo?
thing, AMLO, not Elmo, AMLO is that he says not only should all Mexicans seeking a new life who can't make it in Mexico because Mexico is just like the third or fourth most corrupt place in the world. He said that everybody should get to go to the USA for free stuff, but he also refers to people who go, Mexicans who emigrate to the United States. He said they are our countrymen to the north. He doesn't, in other words, he understands that the purpose of all these folks going northward to the USA is not to assimilate, not to become American, not to become part of the melting pot, but as Steve Parr said, to go to the USA, get taken care of, possibly get jobs, and mail money home. Let me read you what I found this weekend. Okay, I'll read the first paragraph. We'll come back to this later. Mexicans send home $26.1 billion.
What?
From the United States from January to November of 2017. That according to figures released by the Central Bank of Mexico. That's the most ever recorded and tops the $24.1 billion figure of 2016. That's how much cash is leaving the USA and going south. 649, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, traffic time.
Looks like I-20 westbound's got to clear all the way to Dallas right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 south near East 70th Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
.652 KEEL Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher. The Houston Astros knocked off the Texas Rangers 5-4 in 10 innings on the nation's Independence Day. Evan Gattis had a sac fly in the top of the 10th, was the game winner. Yuli Gurriel homered and doubled for the Astros, who overcame a 4-0 deficit to pick up the win. Joey Chestnut broke his own record by scarfing down 74 hot dogs in the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. 74 hot dogs, the top 8 hot dog eating contest record numbers belong to Joey Chestnut. And Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm broke his hand in what ESPN is terming a freak boating accident. The bone break is in his non-throwing left hand. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Miss Erin away this week, back on Monday. I just literally, I cannot. There are not. I'm not going to say there's not many things I can't watch, because now that I'm thinking about it, there's a few. But I literally cannot watch that Nathan's hot dog eating thing. I just cannot watch it. It's for any number of reasons, other than it's disgusting. It's not even to get it.
I don't know why it's considered a sport. Competitive eating is a lot of things, but a sport it is not.
No. And in fact, I saw on ESPN yesterday, and it was talking, it literally said, greatest of all time. And it had a picture of Joey Chestnut. Okay, Joey Chestnut is a competitive eater. And was it yesterday? Yeah. He won his 11th Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship. He downed, what was it? 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes. A man for fame, glory, and not much cash.
You mean gluttony?
Devoured a hot dog every 8.1 seconds. That's literally a hot dog every 8.1 seconds for 10 minutes. And ESPN, if you're a sports, we got to go. Damn, already?
Yeah.
I promise we'll cover this in the next hour. I got to start paying attention. 656, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
I mentioned this on Tuesday, and it bears repeating. Gallup did a poll, 1,500 adults. Get this, less than a third of Democrats say they are extremely proud to be Americans. Less than a third. 74% of Republicans say they are extremely proud to be Americans, compared to 32% of Democrats. Now, sadly, this is not a surprise. Only 33% of non-whites say they are extremely proud, compared with 54% of white Americans. Now, there are plenty of reasons for the dismal showing among Democrats, none of them good. The main reason is the way liberals view the country. We see a great free nation full of promise, opportunity, and goodness. They see the exact opposite. They see abject misery, oppression, an endless parade of victims. Now, unfortunately, liberals spread their negative view of America everywhere. It's the hallmark of education, Hollywood, the news media, and even in government. It wasn't too long ago we had a Democrat first lady who said the first time she was truly proud of her country was when her husband was elected. For most Democrats, even that wasn't enough. That was Obama. They can't do any better than that.
Have you heard of the thousands of people earning money with a second home? Companies like Airbnb have created a whole new industry for people to tap into the multi-billion-dollar industry of renting. If a second home purchase has not crossed your mind, it should, because you could easily make a couple $1,000s more each month if you list your second home for rent or as a vacation property. Be sure to check your city and county ordinance. Hey, it's Gabby, co-founder of American Financing. Real estate has consistently been a great investment, and qualifying for a second home may be easier than you think. Interest rates remain low, and you can put as little as 10% down. That's right, 10% down. A second home could be more consistent than stocks. An easy way to learn more and get started is to talk to our salary-based mortgage consultants. Why not see what we could do for you? Call 800-795-1210. That's 800-795-1210 or AmericanFinancing.net. American Financing, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Kings Highway near Linwood Avenue. And we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near McDade Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Here's your KEELAccuWeather.com forecast. Partly to mostly cloudy, a chance of rain later, like about 40 or 50%. High today, low 90s. Right now, 76 at Keel, 7 o'clock, and time for Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning, 703. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Erin vacationing till Monday. Matt has local news next.
A big 4th of July gunfight left 2 wounded. We had the big 5K firecracker run yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit. And it's been 2 years since the death of Alton Sterling. A lot of legislation passed, but has it really done anything?
A little bit later this hour, Louisiana State Treasurer John Schroeder joins us to try to explain the Moody's upgrade in our financial outlook. And I've got lots of questions that are nothing that just making my head explode. Plus, how much money goes home every year from the USA to Mexico? Steve Parr brought it up a couple of days ago here on this show. We have some details. Fletcher Sports, traffic, and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Over 2,000 runners participated in this year's Firecracker 5K in Shreveport. The female winner was Rachel Corigliano from Bossier City. Her husband's an airman at Barksdale. The male winner was Jarrett LeBlanc from Lafayette. One of the participants, Jay Mueller, ran the race in full firefighter gear to represent all first responders. A 4th of July argument ends in gunfire. A dispute between a large group of women at the Bayou Oaks apartments on Grimmett Drive turned into a shootout. A man was shot twice in the back. An 11-year-old girl was also wounded in the incident. Witnesses say they heard as many as 10 gunshots. A possible suspect is in custody. In the 2 years since the death of Alton Sterling, legislation has been passed to try to address the gap in trust between some Louisiana communities and law enforcement. Matt Doyle has more on that.
Baton Rouge Representative Ted James says he's seen great progress from the new diverse group of cadets in BRPD who've undergone an updated training course. But James says they're still running into issues with older officers.
Seems like those veteran officers know that there are very little consequences at the end of the day.
James says trust will not be rebuilt between officers and the community until cops face real threats to their job for misconduct.
We really need to focus on what happens to those officers who are shining a negative light on the entire department.
I'm Matt Doyle.
One man is dead after flipping his pickup truck in DeSoto Parish. Larry Maroney was traveling on LA 177 when he lost control of his vehicle, became airborne, and hit a tree. Maroney was not wearing a seatbelt and was partially ejected from the truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers believe speed and impairment played a role in the crash. Another man is clinging to life after being hit by an SUV in Shreveport. According to police, the victim was crossing the road at North Market and Arrow Drive when he was hit. Officers say the driver was taken into custody for standard testing, but no word on if they will be facing any charges. DeSoto Fire District 8 is getting close to naming a new leader. The district has been without a permanent fire chief since last fall. William Deloach, who has been serving as interim fire chief since November, is among the 13 finalists being interviewed for the job. No word has been given when a new fire boss will be named. A House representative is now preparing to run for another elected office. Republican District 66 Representative Rick Edmonds has announced his candidacy for Secretary of State in the fall election. Edmonds says security of state elections is his top priority.
As Secretary of State, I want to ensure only American citizens who live in Louisiana vote and that every one of their vote counts. And I believe our elections need to be secure, reliable, and accessible.
Edmonds also says one of his other priorities will be making sure that elections have a better voter turnout. And could the threat of tariffs affect Louisiana? A Forbes report shows Louisiana is the state most at risk of being economically crippled by the escalating trade wars initiated by the Trump administration. The study shows nearly 21% of the state's GDP comes from exports, with 5% coming from Mexico and China specifically. Louisiana Congressman Garrett Graves says he's watching the negotiations closely.
Do I like the fact that we're having impacts in any sector of our economy, adverse impacts? No. But do I think if we play this right, that we can actually get trade remedies? I think that would be great, and I would fully support that.
Graves acknowledged the risk factor that comes with playing hardball on trade with other nations, specifically for a state so reliant on international economic trade. But he says that the risk may be worth the reward of better trade prices. Graves says a message needs to be sent to countries that discriminate against American goods. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Good morning, 10 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. Ruben's ready.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Owner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. There'll be a thunderstorm around this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Remember that thing I showed you just before the show started?
Unfortunately.
I kind of want to tell them about it.
Well,
but I'm afraid they wouldn't believe me. You don't believe me, do you?
It's not that I don't believe you.
You don't believe me that I came upon this in a totally non-disgusting or weird way, that I was just researching the show and tripped upon this when I clicked on images for something.
You know, I'm trying not to think about it, and you're making me think about it, and it's making me sick.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 12 past 7 o'clock. KEEL app's a free download from Office Furniture Source. Yesterday, at one point, I was just doing some research. I don't remember exactly what it was, but at one point, See, if you click on the images thing, because you've got all, when you do a Google search, you've got all and you've got images. And you click on images, and I'll click on images not for photos, but because it will give you a real quick YouTube link sometimes. And I don't even remember what I was looking for, but what came up on the images page, it's only 4 words. It's only 4 words.
And it paints a mental picture that will basically ruin your day. So please, ruin everybody's day, Robert.
So I don't remember what it was I was looking for, but I thought, I wonder if there's a YouTube video on this. So I clicked on,
I hope not.
Clicked on images. No, it had nothing to do with what I'm about to tell them.
I know.
Nothing to do.
So
and the way I came upon this was totally in a totally honorable way. Ugh. So I click on images for something. And one of the first things I see is Nancy Pelosi fake nudes. I just saw that, and I made myself a note, because there's something about uttering those words that makes me I apologize.
My skin crawls.
Shouldn't have gone there. Was a major mistake. We'll edit this out for the network feed. If you could go to one city in America every weekend to visit, to have fun, to hang out.
Ooh.
I mean, if you could just snap your fingers, no travel time, where would you go?
Ooh, that would be a toss-up between New Orleans. I think I'd just go to New Orleans.
See, the fact you said, so would I. The fact you said New Orleans first, that it would be New Orleans and, let me think, maybe New York, maybe, I don't know, but New Orleans. If I could, I would go to New Orleans every weekend.
I mean, it's kind of hard to beat booze, jazz, and cigars, man.
New Orleans is, like, in my mind, the most awesome city in America.
It's like Disney World for adults.
And yet, and I don't know if you've been recently, and you were down there for WWE. What was
WrestleMania back in April.
Okay, and I don't know if you noticed this, but in downtown New Orleans, and this is a problem that is not going to decrease anytime soon. If you've been to New Orleans recently, and I saw this as I was leaving, I was staying on Poydras at the Hyatt. And I go back down, or Loyola, and I go back down Loyola to get on I-10 to go over to the West Bank. No small irony in New Orleans, you go east to get to the West Bank, but that's another story for another time. So I'm looking for the entrance onto I-10 to go over the bridge to Gretna. And if you haven't seen this, it is shocking, overwhelming, sad, depressing, unbelievable that from virtually, I guess, the I-10 overpass in downtown New Orleans runs from almost the river all the way up almost to Canal Street, because it kind of winds around. Maybe between, I want to say, not quite a half mile, but at least 400 yards, at least a quarter of a mile.
Mm-hmm.
And under the underpass, the I-10 underpass in downtown New Orleans, is literally a tent city of homeless people.
Wow.
I mean, it looks like a refugee camp. From almost next, where the overpass starts at the river, where the bridge comes down, from the river all the way up to where the I-10 overpass coming down off the bridge becomes land-based once again. And if you told me that there were 10,000, let me say this again, if you told me that there were 10,000 homeless people living under the underpass, I wouldn't call you a liar. My guess would be a minimum of 5,000 people.
Wow, really?
It's literally a refugee camp. It's a tent city.
It is a tent city.
And I was driving parallel to this overpass. And on my left-hand side, for a minimum of a quarter mile, was this tent city of homeless people living in downtown New Orleans. And that has so increased. Now, I didn't go to New Orleans. It had been 2 years since I've been. And that was not there when I was there 2 years ago. And it is overwhelming, and it is overwhelmingly sad.
It is that.
And why they have settled there, why that is such a problem there, They've got that problem in New York City right now. There's a huge homeless problem in Los Angeles, huge homeless problem in San Francisco. And what the common thread between those cities, I don't know. I know in San Francisco they give out stipends to homeless people. I know in the Pacific Northwest they have clinics where literally, I think it's Portland, where if you're a heroin addict, you can go in with your heroin and they will supply a clean needle and a nurse to inject you with the drug. But why that has happened in New Orleans, does it have something to do with the fact that it's a predominantly Democrat-run city, that the economy, I mean, that is it Mitch Land? I don't know.
Housing prices, maybe? I don't know.
I have absolutely no idea.
Because that's the only thing I can think of that those places have in common is the cost of housing.
And not to take this radical turn from the topic, but every time, and I don't know if you do this or not, when I see homeless people, the first thought for me, what was the tipping point? Where you were sort of a functional member of society.
What broke you?
And then you fell off. I told you this story, but maybe I haven't. When I was down there maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was walking through Jackson Square. And as you know, in the summertime in New Orleans, it rains almost every afternoon. And so I'd been hiding out in like a coffee shop or a bar waiting for the rain to stop right around Jackson Square. In fact, near Cushon Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out, and it's hot, and it's humid, and it's New Orleans. It's a little stinky.
Mm-hmm.
And I see 2 kids, maybe 14 or 15 years old, sitting on a curb. And you can tell they are homeless. And there's 2 kids, 14 or 15 years old, sitting on a curb. And they have a can of green beans. And they're trying to open the can of green beans with a nail. And I'm thinking to myself, what happened in your life? Was it drugs? Was it some sort of abuse, physical or sexual? What was the tipping point for you, a 14 or 15-year-old child, that makes sitting on a curb in August in New Orleans, soaking wet, trying to open a can of green beans with a nail, better than the life you came from?
Mm.
And whatever that is, whatever that tipping point for people is, right now in New Orleans, there's between 5 and 10,000 of those. 20 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Sports on the way. Here's Ruben, traffic update.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. There'll be a thunderstorm around this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
One 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, traffic time. No, time for sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher. The Houston Astros knocked off the Texas Rangers 5-4 in 10 innings on the nation's Independence Day. Evan Gattis had a sac fly in the top of the 10th, was the game winner. Yuli Gurriel homered and doubled for the Astros, who overcame a 4-0 deficit to pick up the win. Joey Chestnut broke his own record by scarfing down 74 hot dogs in the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. 74 hot dogs, the top 8 hot dog eating contest record numbers belong to Joey Chestnut. And Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm broke his hand in what ESPN is terming a freak boating accident. The bone break is in his non-throwing left hand. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Erin's gone. Should have had you skip this one. Actually, the stylistics are pretty awesome. This is You Are Everything.
Yeah.
It's one of her favorites. Russell Tompkins Jr.? Okay, C.O. Simpkins is here, so I think it's Russell Tompkins Jr. was lead singer. Falsetto guy. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 25 past 7 o'clock. Erin back on Monday. Look this up for me, but don't read it to me yet.
All right.
Look up the term, Google the term, civilizational jihad. Civilizational jihad. You kind of got that for me yet?
I'm looking. It's all a bunch of news articles.
No. I just or civilizational jihad definition, because we'll get back to that. Here's what I was looking for, because I had said, and this is, I will tie this in to the current situation at the southern border with Mexico and the influx of illegal immigrants. And what the point I'd made a bunch of times, hell, not only me, virtually everybody, is that this is not all happening by accident. The point is to flood the border, to flood the detention centers with so many immigrants all at the same time. Do you think they're traveling by caravan because they're unorganized, disorganized? Absolutely not. And the point I had made was that the purpose of flooding the detention centers, well, here's the point I made. I said, get ready for the lawsuits. Detention centers are overcrowded, hence inhumane, hence people must be released. And here's the headline I found from earlier this week. Judge rules that Trump administration wrongly and inhumanely detaining asylum seekers. So the stance of the political left is not only open borders, that anybody for any reason at any time should get to come here, stay as long as they want, come and go as they please, and take advantage of all the entitlement programs, free food, free health care, free housing, and free education. Did you find it yet, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Read. Now, this is more pertinent to the term civilizational jihad, obviously in the Muslim religious sense. But when he reads this to you, I want you to think about the southern border.
The transformation of a society from within so it can eventually be brought under Islamic law.
Okay, say that again. Read that again with a little more slowly, a little more dramatically, and with the proper emphasis, please.
The transformation of a society from within so it can eventually be brought under Islamic law. Better?
That was excellent. Is my point made? Are we making my point?
I see where you're going here.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me find, because we had talked a bunch of times about Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, the president-elect of Mexico.
Old Tickle Me Elmo.
And the fact that he had said repeatedly through the campaign that all the poor Mexicans By the way, and I saw this weekend, and I'd seen it before, but it just didn't register. It didn't hit me the way it did this weekend. And it was this article, this video on immigration. They were sort of linked. Do you realize that there are 3 billion people in the world that make less than $2 a day?
No kidding. Wow.
There are 5-point-something billion people in the world whose incomes are less than the average Mexican income. Just to give you an insight into world poverty. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's back to Lopez Obrador. Hold on just a second. And we had made the point repeatedly how during the campaign he talked about, listen, all y'all poor people in my country, vote for me, and I will stand up for your right to go to the United States and get free stuff. In the past, I read this on, Monday or Tuesday? I don't remember, but it's going to tie in here in a second. We'll have to run over. In the past, Lopez Obrador has likened Trump's view of Mexican immigration to the way Nazis treated the Jews. Lopez Obrador has proposed organizing protests against Trump's immigration policy, offering the idea of a human chain along the length of the U.S. border. Here we go. Sunday night, following his victory, he said any relationship with the United States would need to include a defense of, quote, our countrymen living north of the border. I.e., the president-elect of Mexico is saying that all of the illegal immigrants flooding to the Texas-Mexico border, to the Arizona-Mexico border, they're not coming to the USA to assimilate. They're not coming to become American. They are not coming here to become part of the great American melting pot. They know nothing of the American dream. What they know is free stuff and, as Stephen Parr pointed out earlier this week, send money back to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
How much? After the news break, wait till I tell you. How much? Wait till I tell you where U.S. dollars going back to Mexico ranks in the order of Mexican industry. You will be stunned. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, 729. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
A 4th of July argument ends in gunfire. A dispute between a large group of women at the Bayou Oaks apartments on Grimmett Drive turned into a shootout. A man was shot twice in the back. An 11-year-old girl was also wounded in the incident. Witnesses say they heard as many as 10 gunshots. A possible suspect is in custody. A Forbes report shows Louisiana is the state most at risk of being economically crippled by the escalating trade wars initiated by the Trump administration. Matt Doyle has that story.
The report says 21% of the state's GDP comes from international exports, 5% from China and Mexico alone. Those sectors would be hard hit if a full-blown trade war were to break out, but Congressman Garrett Graves says something needs to be done after decades of unfair trade practices.
Look, if we try and take a scalpel approach, China's going to find a way around it. We have to go blunt.
He says Chinese trade practices have a big effect on major industries the U.S. economy relies upon.
And that undermines not just our economy and our domestic facilities and jobs, it undermines our defense industry.
I'm Matt Doyle.
A large part of Sarepta is under a boil advisory due to a water main break. The area between Highway 802 and Porterville Road will remain under a boil advisory until repairs to the main are complete. Over 2,000 runners participated in this year's Firecracker 5K in Shreveport. The female winner was Rachel Corigliano from Bossier City. Her husband's an airman at Barksdale. The male winner was Jarrett LeBlanc from Lafayette. One of the participants, Jay Mueller, ran the race in full firefighter gear to represent all first responders. A House rep is preparing to run for Secretary of State. Republican Representative Rick Edmonds has announced he will be running for Secretary of State in the fall election. Edmonds says he anticipates it'll be a lot of work, but one of his goals is to increase voter turnout.
We're going to work hard. We're going to meet everybody we can, knock on every door we can, try to introduce ourselves to the public the best we possibly can.
Edmonds says another one of his top priorities is the security of state elections. One man is dead after flipping his pickup truck in DeSoto Parish. Larry Maroney was traveling on LA 177 when he lost control of his vehicle, became airborne, and hit a tree. Maroney was not wearing a seatbelt and was partially ejected from the truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers believe speed and impairment played a role in the crash. Another man is clinging to life after being hit by an SUV in Shreveport. According to police, the victim was crossing the road at North Market and Arrow Drive when he was hit. Officers say the driver was taken into custody for standard testing, but no word on whether or not they'll be facing charges. DeSoto Fire District 8 is getting close to naming a new leader. The district has been without a permanent fire chief since last fall. William DeLoach has been serving as interim fire chief since November and is among the 13 finalists being interviewed for the job. No word on when a new fire boss will be named. And Sakoni Jones, the woman accused of shoplifting 11 bottles of booze in her bra and pants, is in court this week fighting the charge. Well, it's hard to dispute the video of Jones stuffing $750 worth of liquor in the various parts of her body. Her lawyers are arguing whether or not the crime is a felony. Jones has been arrested for shoplifting at least 9 times. There's also a case pending against Jones for stealing over $500 worth of meat and other items from a Shreveport supermarket. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
One 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 737. Here we go. You ready? Because
No.
we talked about, you're going to be amazed at this. Steve Parr brought this up. I got some actual numbers.
I don't know if amazed is the right word.
Do you have civilizational jihad still up in front of you?
I do.
Read that again, please.
The transformation...
Pardon me just a second. As Matt reads this again, think in terms of it, not in terms of Muslim immigration to Europe, but in terms of our southern border.
The transformation of a society from within so it eventually can be brought under Islamic law.
Mexicans sent home $26.1 billion from January to November of 2017. That, according to figures released Tuesday, I found this a couple of weeks ago, by the Central Bank of Mexico. That's the most ever recorded, topping the $24.1 billion sent in 2016 over that same period. The total annual figure for 2018 is currently on pace to hit another record high. So, last year, $26.1 billion, American dollars, were sent back to Mexico.
Is that basically like my lawn guy for sending his money back?
Remittances are one of Mexico's top sources of you ready for this?
No.
Okay. Remittances, $26.1 billion, are one of Mexico's top sources of income, outpacing oil exports, which totaled $18.5 billion. In other words, illegal immigrants coming to the USA, settling, working, and sending American dollars back to families in Mexico financially tops oil exports.
How is that even possible?
Remittances are one of Mexico's top sources of income, $26.1 billion, outpacing oil exports, which totaled $18.5 billion. That, according to the most recent figures available at the Bank of Mexico.
I don't even know how to...
So when the president of Mexico, the president-elect, says, hey, all y'all poor folks, go to the USA.
No wonder.
Get menial jobs. Send your money back here. We need it.
Basically, between the drug trade and illegals sending money back, that's their entire income for the country.
739, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. State Treasurer John Schroeder in just a couple of seconds. I'm not sure if it's going to make sense or not, but Lord knows I will try. Traffic update, Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Hollywood Avenue near Jewella Avenue. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Benton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Miss Erin away for the week. She'll be back Monday morning. State Treasurer of Louisiana, John Schroeder, is here for a little bit. Hey, Mr. John, welcome back to Keel. Thank you for taking time for us.
Hey, good morning. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you very much. I am so glad you are here. Our producer, Matt, and me, we've been doing a lot of reading about this Moody's upgrade and everything that goes along with it. And I got to tell you, because we got a lot of questions, and I'm not sure they're all going to tie together, but we'll try. First of all, let's start with the Moody's upgrade, and they upgraded our financial outlook, the state of Louisiana's financial outlook. Have I got that right?
That's correct.
And why is that important? Why does that matter?
Well, they upgrade us to stable, which is good, and every movement from that aspect is good for the state. It eventually gives confidence to the markets, to people who send money to the states, and it eventually, hopefully, it leads to an upgrade that will allow the state to borrow money cheaper. As I tell people, I try to relate it to the normal blue-collar person. It's no different than you going to the bank and you get one interest rate based on what your debt is, and the better your debt, the better your rate's going to be. Well, the state works the same way.
Gotcha. Okay, so we had Commissioner of Administration Jay Darden on Tuesday morning, and we sort of got into this, and basically Mr. Jay told us that the reason that Moody's gave Louisiana the upgrade was because of the 7-year 4.45% sales tax, the new sales tax. Is there some validity to that?
Well, yeah, there's validity to the reason that Moody's gave the stable rating, but there's absolutely no validity to, did we need the tax, in my opinion, and are we allowing government to just expand bigger? Moody's doesn't care how big your government is. Moody's just cares that you have some way to pay for it. And that's all Moody's is concerned about.
Okay, so here's my question, and I think it's such an awesome question I wrote it down. So, we have the 4.45% sales tax for 7 years, and Mr. Jay said that the steady stream of money to the state was the biggest reason that Moody's gave us the upgrade. But what difference does it make how much money the state takes in if we spend it all, i.e., if we've got $10 billion in the general fund budget because we have more money coming in from the sales tax, or we've got $7 billion because we had to make cuts. What difference does that make to Moody's if Louisiana doesn't have a budget surplus?
Absolutely zero, because Moody's is just looking at our balance sheet. Moody's doesn't get into the structure of what we spend and say, you know what, guys? You're spending too much money on education, or you're spending too much money on health care. Moody's just looks, can you pay your bills? Do you pass a budget, and do you have the money to sustain it? Which is one reason why I've always argued since I've been in office, what's the big deal with Moody's? We have to have a balanced budget at the end of the year. Whether we spend $30 billion or $25 billion, our budget by our law, by our Constitution, we have to have a balanced budget, period.
So our Moody's bond rating really has nothing to do with us spending less or being more responsible. I'm confused.
Let me unconfuse you.
Okay.
This has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you believe the state of Louisiana is spending too much money in government. Absolutely nothing. And I would argue that we've done exactly opposite. We've done absolutely nothing to fix the structural problems that's causing the government to grow faster than the economy or your ability to pay for it. I've said that probably a dozen times on your show now, and nothing happens to fix that.
So I was looking at the total amount of general obligation bonds that the state of Louisiana issued, and something like $300 million a year. If the budget is, how do I phrase this? If we're going to borrow, if we're going to sell more bonds to people to pay for stuff, what was the whole budget fight about if that really doesn't have anything to do with how much money we eventually spend or borrow?
Yeah, so let's make sure we understand something. I'm not saying that we're going to go out and lend new bonds or more bonds outside of what the state normally does. In my personal opinion, because this is a whole subject matter for another day, we shouldn't borrow another dime. We ought to pay down what we have, pay down our debt that we have before we even talk about borrowing more money. But I promise you, the governor's going to come to the bond commission soon, relatively soon, looking to spend more money. And let me tell you, there's an article out this morning about the sales tax, on internet sales tax, that the administration believes they're going to have the laws in place, or not the laws, but the infrastructure in place to start collecting internet sales tax beginning in 2019. Some people in the legislature argue that we're raising all this revenue and it won't be needed because internet sales tax will come right behind it next year.
What is our bond debt now of all of the state budget and the bonds that we have currently issued? What is that bond debt? How much money, how much taxpayer money is going to pay off that bond debt at this time?
You know, I'm gonna get you this answer, but I'm gonna give you a ballpark. I think actual dollars spent in overhead, because obviously the bonds are much greater, and we have this carrying cost, and I want to say it's around $28 million a year.
Yeesh.
And don't quote that. I will send that to you in an email, so you have that information.
Now, you have for some time, you have been calling for structural reforms to the budget. When you talk about when John Schroeder wants structural reforms to Louisiana's budgeting process, what are you talking about?
Well, it means we have a system that is starving for money, and we can't ever give it enough money. It grows at an 8-9% clip, where your personal wealth grows at 1.5%. I mean, that's impossible. I think we emailed you that chart a while back, or a graph that shows you the growth of government and your personal growth, which means you're paying the bill, but your ability to pay is about 1.5%, but the government's need is around 9%. So we just gave almost a half penny more in taxes, $500 million more to a system that's totally structurally broken. Now, this is what the most people don't understand. The budget now that we're currently in will be the most money we've ever spent in the history of our state. So we went through all these special sessions and all the grinding and gnashing of teeth to raise your taxes and to now spend the most money that we've ever spent in the history of our state.
We have had Republican legislators on during all the special sessions, and some are in favor. Some say the only way to fix things in Louisiana is a constitutional convention, and others say that no, that the legislature could actually fix things without starting from square one. What do you think about that?
That's absolutely correct. I mean, it's a cop-out. Look, for years now, I'm in Baton Rouge for my 11th year, and you're right. I have been screaming about this issue for practically 10 years now. And I originally started off saying we did need a constitution, or we needed one, and then we didn't, and then we did, because over 10 years it was never fixed. And I sort of joined the fray. Okay, if we're not going to fix it through the legislature, then let's go to a constitutional convention. But I always tell people, you do not have to go to a convention to fix this problem. You do have to have some big-time political will, and use the magic word that nobody uses in government. It's a 2-letter word. You learn it very young, and it's just simply no. We can't afford it, period. We don't know what our priorities are, so we just spend and spend and spend. Everything is a priority.
Mr. John Schroeder is the state treasurer of Louisiana. John, trust me on this. You have done a great deal to alleviate my headache, and I thank you.
Well, let me just say one more thing, though.
Please.
This money does not grow on trees in a backyard. And you know, I hate to be sassy about it, but raising taxes again has not addressed the problem of excessive government spending. It only makes it worse. And this money does not grow on trees in the backyard. So everybody's running around the state having a big backslap, and you know we're out of the dark press conferences. And I'm telling you, we've solved absolutely zero long term.
A pleasure, Mr. John. Thank you for your time. Hope to have you again soon. I appreciate it immensely.
You're welcome.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, 752. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Hollywood Avenue near Juella Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Benton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. There'll be a thunderstorm around this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Still got a headache. 7:54. Here's Fletch on KEEL.
Good morning. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher. The Houston Astros knocked off the Texas Rangers 5-4 in 10 innings on the nation's Independence Day. Evan Gattis had a sac fly in the top of the 10th, was the game winner. Yuli Gurriel homered and doubled for the Astros, who overcame a 4-0 deficit to pick up the win. Joey Chestnut broke his own record by scarfing down 74 hot dogs in the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. 74 hot dogs, the top 8 hot dog eating contest record numbers belong to Joey Chestnut. And Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm broke his hand in what ESPN is terming a freak boating accident. The bone break is in his non-throwing left hand. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Yeah, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. So the way Moody's looks at this in Louisiana's financial outlook rating is, we don't care how much money you spend. All we care is about how much you make.
Yeah, as long as you have the money to pay your bills.
We don't care whether you're paying your bills or not. We don't care. As long as I've got time. It's like going to buy a car. And I can tell the finance guy at the car, look, last year I made 50 grand. This year I'm making 75 grand. I got a 50% raise. And he looks at my bank account and says, yeah, but you got no money in the bank. And I'm saying, yeah, but I got a 50% raise. I'm making 75 grand now. And he goes, well, okay, that's perfectly logical. Because at some point in this equation, this financial equation, you had the money, and we're just hoping we'll get our share. Is that basically it?
Yeah, kind of.
It's just, my head's going to blow up. 7:57, here's Hannity on KEEL.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So the left, the mainstream media, they're having their full-blown hypocritical meltdown over the president's commitment to enforcing the exact rule of law and the bills and the laws that Congress passed, and by the way, past presidents actually enforced. Now, according to Newsbusters, in 1 week, yes, your morning and nightly news shows spent 258 minutes. Well, that's over 4 straight hours covering the Trump administration's enforcement of what is the immigration law that the president inherited. Of course, Congress doesn't want to do their job. Now, despite the release of the explosive IG report, the FBI trying to impact the presidential election by using their power, and all the other news, like good economic news they could be covering, no, why bother covering that when we can smear the president?
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, I recently gave my home a facelift. I did it the best, simplest way possible. Brand new custom blinds, thanks to my friends at Blinds.com. You always get free online design consultation, free samples, and free shipping. By the way, their prices are unbeatable. Blinds.com, the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. And now, through July the 6th, well, you're going to save up to 50%, plus take an additional 5% off just by using the promo code Hannity. That's Blinds.com, promo code Hannity. Rules, restrictions apply.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions.
Am I talking here? Traffic update on KEEL.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road. And we have some traffic delays at the intersection of Barksdale Boulevard and Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Here's your KEELAccuweather.com forecast. Increasing clouds, chance of rain, heavy at times today. Low 90s. Right now, 79.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Let's see. Erin's gone until Monday morning, so Matt's got local news, and that's up next.
Had a big shooting yesterday. 11-year-old girl wounded. Well, we'll talk about that. DeSoto Fire District 8 might be getting a new boss. And today's been the 2-year anniversary of the Alton Sterling shooting. A lot of legislation passed, but has any of it really made a difference?
Lots to talk about, and I mentioned Bishop Larry Brandon from Praise Temple.
Yes.
Will be joining us for a half hour in just a couple of seconds.
One of our favorites.
Almost didn't recognize him. He's
just whittling away, man.
He's a rail. Lots to talk about, including the term I'll use is Gospel Fest that's coming up in a little bit. We'll talk about that. Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour. And it's here on Keel.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
A 4th of July argument ends in gunfire. A dispute between a large group of women at the Bayou Oaks apartments on Grimmett Drive turned into a shootout. A man was shot twice in the back. An 11-year-old girl was also wounded in the incident. Witnesses say they heard as many as 10 gunshots. A possible suspect is in custody. One man is dead after flipping his pickup truck in DeSoto Parish. Larry Maroney was traveling on LA 177 when he lost control of his vehicle, became airborne, and hit a tree. Maroney was not wearing a seatbelt and was partially ejected from the truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers believe speed and impairment played a role in the crash. The DeSoto Fire District 8 is getting close to naming a new leader. The district has been without a permanent fire chief since last fall. William DeLoach has been serving as interim fire chief since November and is among the 13 finalists being interviewed for the job. No word has been given when a new fire boss will be named. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of the shooting death of Alton Sterling by Officer Blaine Salamone. Since then, legislation has been passed to try to address the gap in trust between some Louisiana communities and law enforcement. Baton Rouge Rep Ted James says they've had some initial success with programs aimed at increasing training for cops on how to interact with communities they serve.
It's the curriculum that I get a lot of calls about when I see officers in the street, especially new cadets, as they're telling me that they really appreciate it, and it's a deeper dive into what's actually happening in the community.
However, James says there's still a long way to go to repair that bridge. Next time you get carded, you could have the option of pulling out your smartphone instead of your billfold. Kevin Barnhart explains.
It's called LA Wallet, and it's available now for iPhone and Android devices. Commissioner at the Office of Motor Vehicles, Karen St. Germain, says for just $6, users can display photo ID from a phone. St. Germain says it's emerging tech Louisiana is getting before any other state.
There'll be questions along the way. We're more than happy to answer them, work through them, but this is an option.
The new option can be quite convenient in many situations.
Whether you're going to the airport, you can use your smartphone to check in. This will be another thing on your phone ready to be handed and not carrying 4 things in your hand.
I'm Kevin Barnhart.
Sakoni Jones, the woman accused of shoplifting 11 bottles of booze in her bra and pants, is in court this week fighting the charge. While it's hard to dispute the video of Jones stuffing $750 worth of liquor in the various parts of her body, her lawyers are arguing whether or not the crime is a felony. Jones has been arrested for shoplifting at least 9 times. There's also a case pending against Jones for stealing over $500 worth of meat and other items from a Shreveport supermarket. And over 2,000 runners participated in this year's Firecracker 5K in Shreveport. The female winner was Rachel Corigliano from Bossier City. Her husband is an airman at Barksdale. The male winner was Jarrett LeBlanc from Lafayette. One of the participants, Jay Mueller, ran the race in full firefighter gear to represent all first responders. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Nine past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL traffic time. Here's Ruben.
The intersection of Uri Drive and East Kings Highway is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayart.
Good morning. It's 8:11. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL app's a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Bishop Larry Brandon from Praise Temple, whom I have not seen in a while. We see each other every couple of months.
Every couple of months.
And every couple of months I
too long,
see you. I barely recognize you.
You're too kind.
So let me give you the official Robert J. Wright, welcome Larry Brandon to KEEL introduction. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the man who I can virtually guarantee has never eaten 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
I promise you I haven't.
It's are you as put off, and that's a mild term, are you as put off by competitive, I can't even watch this guy, Joey Chestnut, 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Oh, my gosh, in 10 minutes,
I
get a bellyache looking at it.
I cannot,
I'm telling you.
I cannot watch that. It is so
gosh,
off-putting.
How he literally chokes them down.
Yes.
You know, I mean, literally. And I'm telling you, and hot dogs at that.
What did we say?
And
That's
pushing them away.
74 in 10 minutes is a hot dog every 8.1 seconds.
74. You know, I couldn't even fathom.
And maybe this is just the Catholic school kid rearing his head that still in the recesses of my heart and soul. But I gotta There's something morally about that that just
absolutely
that just bothers me.
I went to Catholic school, and I remember on certain days, I believe it was Wednesdays, where you could buy 2 hot dogs for $1, and but choking them down in 8 minutes. Like
so
that,
you as a minister, you as bishop, at Praise Temple on Greenwood Road.
Yes.
When I watch this, I'm going, there's just that
gluttony.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
There are 7 deadly sins.
That's
What you are
Gluttonous
doing
living.
is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. For the sport of it. Oh, I'm telling you.
And then, hold on, as though that were not offensive enough. Hold on, let me find this because I showed this to Matt. You will be. This is on the, I swear to you, Larry, this was on the ESPN page yesterday. Joey Chestnut, among the greats.
Among the greats.
ESPN.com. Chestnut is in elite company after Wednesday's victory in the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Championship. And I promise you, it has a picture of Joey Chestnut, 11 titles. It has a picture of Bill Russell, 11 titles. It has a picture of Tiger Woods, 14 titles. It has a picture of Muhammad Ali.
Are you serious?
Yes, look.
They're naming him among the elites. Are you serious? Well, I want to. I guess I don't want to be around him on Thursday morning.
Matt said,
Maybe with the
competitive
mask
eating
on.
is a lot of things.
God,
it's not
at all.
sport.
Hot dogs? Come on.
Anything.
Please.
That man versus food
Come
show.
on, right.
Oh,
my gosh.
What is wrong?
Muhammad Ali. Tiger Woods, the great elites.
Joey
Bill
Chestnut,
Russell.
Tiger Woods,
I'm
Bill Russell. So how much have you lost?
Too funny.
How much have you lost?
Well, it's over 50. It's over 50 pounds.
You know who Jason Day is, the golfer? Jason Day's okay. The trend is on the PGA Tour.
40, 50 pounds. I'll say it like that.
The trend is on the PGA Tour, where all these guys like Dustin Johnson or Tiger or Jason Day or a bunch of them who are workout fanatics.
Yes.
I was going to say workout demon, but I don't want to use the term demon in the presence of
right.
Workout fanatics.
Unless you're talking about Northwestern State University.
And the golf shirts that they wear are literally spray on. They're so. Let me tell you, the shirt you have on today is could you get a tighter shirt?
I'm done. I'm about to collapse.
I don't think so.
Well, a friend of mine, I told him he's buying his shirts too little. He looks like Hulk Hogan. Speaking of,
you're shopping in the boys department at Steinmart, for God's sake. How long did it take you to get the duck off the pocket?
Ego booster. My goal is 50 pounds, and I'm just about there. I'm not there just yet. I want to return. My wife is listening, Wanda Brandon, and I want to return to the day where we met, when I was in the Air Force. So some would say wishful thinking, but I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm really on my way, where I separated from the United States Air Force here at Barksdale. I was between 225 to 230.
Now, this has been about a year and a half?
This program
it's
you're almost on? 2 years. Almost 2 years. Fit Temple.
Okay.
Almost 2 years. When I really got serious about it, I taught a series on it, and then I said, well, I just can't teach it. I have to demonstrate it. And so I've been demonstrating it, and so many people are living healthier lives. And it's not about being buff or having six packs, which I'm on my way. I had a motivator.
He said, mentioning
humble brag.
That's not the key. But
I just had a motivator walk by me this morning.
Keller walked by.
And so it's not about a six pack, although I'm on my way, but it's about making healthier choices and living a healthier lifestyle.
That being said, one of the first things you said to me was, I really blew it up yesterday.
Oh my God. You know, I normally have a treat day, but no, it was a cheat day yesterday. I feel like I cheated. I'm an infidel after yesterday. I'm telling you.
So what did you tell? How many calories did you
Oh
consume?
my God! I don't even want to talk about it.
Think
I'm
of me.
so serious.
Bless me,
I need
Robert,
to go,
for I have
getting ready to say I
sinned.
need to go see Bishop Duca. And confess.
Before he leaves town, you did hear about that.
Huh?
You did hear Bishop Duca has been transferred.
No.
To Baton Rouge.
I did not.
I think it's August 1st, yes.
Really?
Yeah. So
a
what
larger diocese for
What the
him.
priests will do here is among themselves elect an administrator to take over, and it may be as long as a year before a replacement is named.
Wow.
So what a wonderful man.
Yes,
awesome
I love
man.
Bishop Duca.
Yeah.
I really do. And we've become friends and what have you. Wow. And so he's headed to Baton Rouge. Well, I have quite a few friends in Baton Rouge. So, I will
A
definitely
much
let
bigger
them know.
diocese, to say the
much
least.
bigger. Yeah, absolutely.
So back to your sin.
Yes, sins. Yes, sins.
Competitive eater, Larry Brandon.
Yes, indeed. Yesterday, it was, I mean, fried chicken, hamburgers, there's ribs, and oh my gosh, pork ribs at that, and oh my gosh.
You know what, though?
But I did stray away. I didn't touch the ribs. I'm still trying to hold on, and not eat pork. For a minute.
As someone who, how long were you in the Air?
10 years Air
10
Force.
years you were
I'm a
in the Air
veteran.
Force.
Yeah, 10 years.
And you were the equivalent, I guess, of an MP, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Security police. But my last assignment, I was a substance abuse counselor. I was in charge of the substance abuse section.
What is it about? What was your motivation then as an American? And on a serious note, on the 4th of July,
oh my God,
what does that mean to you? Not only as a leader of men and women now, a spiritual leader, but as someone who felt the responsibility to stand up for his country.
Well, absolutely. Well, I've shared with my wife yesterday, and of course my son Elijah, my early midlife crisis child. I refer to him 12 years old. Right.
Is that the one with the golf swing?
Right.
We'll
absolutely.
Come into that. Go ahead.
But I shared yesterday. I love America. God bless America, and to fight for the liberties and the freedoms of my country was certainly to place myself or position myself to possibly be placed in harm's way. It was just a privilege. I was in the Air Force during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I wasn't sent over, but I was prepared to defend the rights and the freedoms of our country. Now, of course, our country, we do have issues. We have growing pains and what have you. However, America, the United States of America, is the greatest country in the world, and to protect its rights, liberties, and freedoms is nothing but a privilege.
When you counsel, about a minute till the break, when you counsel young men as you do, and they come to you and they say, Bishop Larry, I don't know exactly what to do with my life. I am searching, I'm looking, I'm a goal, a purpose.
Yes.
Do you put your arm around a kid and go, let me tell you about the Air Force?
The United States Air Force. Yes. In fact, I did it 2 days ago with a young man. He said, college is not my choice. And so I said, well, if that's not your trajectory, you can still join the Air Force and go to college while you're in the Air Force, because he wants to make monies now instead of, depending on mom and dad and Pell Grants or what have you.
Wants to be a man.
Absolutely. And
That'll
I
make you a
applaud
man.
him.
Yeah.
And I applaud him, really. And so I did. I put my arms around him and said, go Air Force, and I've shared with him what he should do in preparation of the test, and talking to individuals who's recently, because I tested about 100 years ago, so I'm sure they've changed the
There's
test
new
since
questions.
then. Right, absolutely. Yeah. But, talk to others about the test and prepare himself for a wholesome career in the United States Air Force, not knocking the Army, Marines, and Navy, but maybe I'm partial, but I love the United States Air Force. And so I encourage, and not only join the Air Force for education or what have you, but to think about your country, protect your country, something that Israel does all of their high schoolers, when they graduate, all of their citizens have to join the military.
Mandatory service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love the idea, actually.
To me, that's not the worst idea that America could have.
I'm telling you, and I love the idea. And so I encourage him, and he's certainly excited about it, and he should be testing, I believe, in August some time frame, and we'll see where it goes.
Go to break. When we come back, you've got, is the term Gospel Fest?
Yes, the Summer Gospel Fest.
On the horizon. I want to hear all about that. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. More with Bishop Larry in a couple of seconds. Right now, traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road. And we have some traffic delays at the intersection of Barksdale Boulevard and Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Past 8 o'clock, Keel Sports.
Good morning. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher. The Houston Astros knocked off the Texas Rangers 5-4 in 10 innings on the nation's Independence Day. Evan Gaddis had a sac fly in the top of the 10th, was the game winner. Yuli Gurriel homered and doubled for the Astros, who overcame a 4-0 deficit to pick up the win. Joey Chestnut broke his own record by scarfing down 74 hot dogs in the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. 74 hot dogs, the top 8 hot dog eating contest record numbers belong to Joey Chestnut. And Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm broke his hand in what ESPN is terming a freak boating accident. The bone break is in his non-throwing left hand. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Twenty-five past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. I mentioned Bishop Larry Brandon from Praise Temple is here for a couple of seconds. Maybe you might get extended beyond 8:30.
Right. You're too kind.
Now, which son is it I saw on you?
My early midlife crisis child. He's 12 years old, Elijah.
and with the golf swing
Yes.
that I hate.
Oh, you and me both. I'm just embarrassed. Maybe that's why I haven't been
This
out
kid-
with him in a while.
Kid looks good.
Yes, indeed. And of course, he's a part of the David Toms Academy.
265.
Yes, 265.
Right,
I
right,
have the
right.
hat. Yes, indeed.
I had one. They took it away from me because I
They
suck.
should take mine. I'm serious. I'm still doglegging for some reason. It's the clubs. It's really the clubs. I need a new set.
When I was playing at East Ridge, and I would go out there, and Sam Burns, when Sam was in high school, and Nathan, and all those Shreveport guys, Philip Barbary and all those kids. But I would look at Sam and Philip, and they were like 17 or 18 at the time, and I look at their golf swings, and I would think, I'm sure when I was 17 or 18, I'm markedly more flexible than I am now.
See.
But I sure don't think I was ever that flexible.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure that when you were 12, you were a little more flexible. But I'm telling you, when you watch your son's golf swing, you've got to be thinking, I was never that flexible.
Well, the last time we went golfing, he said, Daddy, do it this way. I said, oh, no. Now, ego came in, and I needed to humble myself, but I was,
stop.
I was really prideful then. Wait.
Stop
I said, oh,
just
no.
Stop just a second, Mr. Second Deadly Sin. We've covered gluttony. We've covered pride. Now, last time you were here, maybe the time before, we got into this wonderful discussion, this long segment about parenting and whether or not at sports you should let your kids win. And you said, I will never let any of my sons win.
God. Ever.
You said
you remember that, right?
Yes, you said I will beat them down.
Yes.
Because when they beat the old man, they're going to have earned it.
That's right. And he's earned it, but I won't admit it. I won't admit it.
Basically,
Matt, I will not admit it.
What happened to eye contact here? So basically, what you're telling me
when
is,
you're in sin, you normally look down. You don't.
So what you're telling me is, when it comes to golf, when you and your son are, as they say, on the links,
gosh.
you're not letting him win.
Yes. Oh my.
But he
God.
perhaps has surpassed you at this point.
Oh my God! I will not admit it. He's listening, so I will not admit it.
Well, repeat after me. There's always basketball.
You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. We probably go to the court today.
Just to get your manhood back. Okay, I promise when we come back from break, we can talk about Gospel Fest.
Where's
because
Bishop
it is
Duke?
an
I need to confess.
awesome event. You're like Trump.
I'm going to St. John's today.
You're like Trump. Can you pardon yourself?
Right.
This is going to be incredible. Bless me, Larry, for I have sinned. You're looking in a mirror. 29 past 8, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. News is next. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road. And we have some traffic delays at the intersection of Barksdale Boulevard and Hamilton Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. A thunderstorm in spots this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayart.
information. KEEL News now.
A 4th of July argument ends in gunfire. A dispute between a large group of women at the Bayou Oaks apartments on Grimmett Drive turned into a shootout. A man was shot twice in the back. An 11-year-old girl was also wounded in the incident. Witnesses say they heard as many as 10 gunshots. A possible suspect is in custody. A Forbes report shows Louisiana is the state most at risk of being economically crippled by the escalating trade wars initiated by the Trump administration. Matt Doyle has that story.
The report says 21% of the state's GDP comes from international exports, 5% from China and Mexico alone. Those sectors would be hard hit if a full-blown trade war were to break out, but Congressman Garrett Graves says something needs to be done after decades of unfair trade practices.
Look, if we try and take a scalpel approach, China's going to find a way around it. We have to go blunt.
He says Chinese trade practices have a big effect on major industries the U.S. economy relies upon.
That undermines not just our economy and our domestic facilities and jobs, it undermines our defense industry.
I'm Matt Doyle.
A large part of Sarepta is under a boil advisory due to a water main break. The area between Highway 802 and Porterville Road will remain under a boil advisory until repairs to the main are complete. Over 2,000 runners participated in this year's Firecracker 5K in Shreveport. The female winner was Rachel Corigliano from Bossier City. Her husband's an airman at Barksdale. The male winner was Jarrett LeBlanc from Lafayette. One of the participants, Jay Mueller, ran the race in full firefighter gear to represent all first responders. A House rep is preparing to run for Secretary of State. Republican Representative Rick Edmonds has announced he will be running for Secretary of State in the fall election. Edmonds says he anticipates it'll be a lot of work, but one of his goals is to increase voter turnout.
We're going to work hard. We're going to meet everybody we can, knock on every door we can, try to introduce ourselves to the public the best we possibly can.
Edmonds says another one of his top priorities is the security of state elections. One man is dead after flipping his pickup truck in DeSoto Parish. Larry Maroney was traveling on LA 177 when he lost control of his vehicle, became airborne, and hit a tree. Maroney was not wearing a seatbelt and was partially ejected from the truck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers believe speed and impairment played a role in the crash. Another man is clinging to life after being hit by an SUV in Shreveport. According to police, the victim was crossing the road at North Market and Arrow Drive when he was hit. Officers say the driver was taken into custody for standard testing, but no word on whether or not they'll be facing charges. The DeSoto Fire District 8 is getting close to naming a new leader. The district has been without a permanent fire chief since last fall. William DeLoach has been serving as interim fire chief since November and is among the 13 finalists being interviewed for the job. No word on when a new fire boss will be named. And Sakoni Jones, the woman accused of shoplifting 11 bottles of booze in her bra and pants, is in court this week fighting the charge. Well, it's hard to dispute the video of Jones stuffing $750 worth of liquor in the various parts of her body. Her lawyers are arguing whether or not the crime is a felony. Jones has been arrested for shoplifting at least 9 times. There's also a case pending against Jones for stealing over $500 worth of meat and other items from a Shreveport supermarket. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Yeah, there's a phrase for all times. Black men can't do comb over.
Right.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Another segment with Bishop Larry Brandon from Praise Temple. Okay, I'm looking at the poster. Saturday,
Yes.
July 7th. I texted this, Matt, yesterday. I said we may have plans. Saturday, July 7th, 2018 at 7 p.m. at Praise Temple.
Yes.
Summer Gospel
Fest.
Music Fest.
Absolutely. And it's going to benefit the Christian Service Program and the Brandon House, the transitional home for boys. And we're certainly excited about it. And the Christian Service Program doesn't receive any federal grants. And so, but they feed the hungry
Tell us
every
about
day.
that. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Alvin Moore, who's the executive director of the Christian Service Program, we've partnered with them to assist. Because
Pardon me for inserting.
Sure.
Is there anyone who needs help with whom you do not partner?
Oh, you're too kind. I appreciate it, but that's my ministry. That's my assignment. And my wife and I were talking about it yesterday. And she said, "You really are thrilled when you're helping people," and that's where I am. And I really do love helping people. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're in need of genuine help, I'm there. And to feed the hungry every day, with the exception of Christmas Day, to feed the hungry every day and to pay some light bills for those who are in need, if they need their rent paid, utilities paid, and what have you, it's just awesome. And so Praise Temple and the Northwest Louisiana Community Development Corporation has partnered with the Christian Service Program to provide assistance to our fellow citizens who are homeless. And what I love about them, they don't check IDs. If I go in the suit that you just saw and I'm hungry and want to eat, they will not turn me away. I can sit there with my family and eat. And this is 364 days a year, 65 if there's a leap year.
Wow.
And so we assist them. And then also those who call us, they help us to vet. They're those who call the church in need. So we send them in there because we support the Christian Service Program. And the Christian Service Program will vet them to make sure that they're genuine needs, and they will meet those needs. So
Now,
I applaud Alvin Moore, and he's the executive director of the Christian Service Program.
I've told my friends when I go to Jazz Fest in New Orleans, the Gentilly stage is the big one. That's where
Yeah.
Springsteen or Sting or whomever, and I tell people I never go there. I basically go to the gospel tent, the blues tent,
yes,
and the jazz tent, which are over there on the periphery. And basically the way it works is I go to the gospel tent and find the Lord. I go to the jazz tent and lose the Lord. Then
Matt,
I go back to the.
What are we gonna do with him, Matt?
Then I go down to the blues tent and have remorse for having lost the Lord. Circle back to the gospel tent and find the Lord again.
Again.
I would reckon, and I am looking at the lineup for your Gospel Music Fest coming up this Saturday.
This Saturday, John P. Key, Grammy Award winning.
Let me tell you,
Stellar Award winning. John P. Key.
I looked for the aforementioned John P. initial Key, K-E-E on YouTube. Yes. Oh my gosh!
Yes. He is awesome. He has some.
This feller can
music.
wail, to use country parlance.
Oh my gosh, yes! And he's one of my favorite artists, gospel artists in the world. And we've been friends for years. And every year, or every other year, he will return to us. He goes on tour, and he loves coming to Shreveport. He loves coming to Praise Temple, and he's going to come and just be a blessing and to give us, that entertainment.
He's your headliner. How many artists totally?
Yeah, we have 2 or 3 others. We have D.P. Jefferson, who's a gospel comedian, and he's going to have a few moments, to share. And then we have 1 or 2 other artists, and then John P. Key is a feature artist. And when I tell you, whoever comes, you're going to be glad you
Everyone, everywhere is invited.
Everyone,
Trust
everywhere.
me, it will be an amazing evening, I have no
this
doubt.
Saturday at 7 p.m. at Praise Temple, 4725 Greenwood Road. You can go to praisetemple.com for additional information. And again, it's a benefit.
Or look on the Bishop Larry Brandon website.
Absolutely.
Facebook page. I'm sorry, Facebook page.
That's right. Larry Lawrence Brandon, Facebook. Larry Lawrence Brandon, 1906 on Twitter. And Larry Lawrence Brandon, 1906 on Instagram. You can go there, and the information, the details are there. I'm going to be posting all day today again, tomorrow, through the concert on Saturday.
Sounds like it's going to be an amazing day.
Oh, my God.
And an amazing
can't
evening.
Wait for it. And again, everyone is invited. It doesn't matter who you are. You're invited, and I'm promise you, you will be glad that
like
you
the
did.
like the Jazz Fest gospel tent.
Yes, absolutely. See,
With no jazz tent or blues tent
around.
just to help you find the
so
Lord.
you can find the Lord and keep the Lord.
Bishop Larry
On this
Brandon,
Saturday.
Praise Temple, a
You're a
pleasure
blessing.
as always, my friend.
Oh,
Great
you're
to
a
see
blessing. You and Matt, I appreciate you both.
Get a medium-sized shirt for next time.
Fit Temple.
A pleasure as always. Great to see you.
Thank you.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. It's 841. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Texas Avenue and Murphy Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Midway Avenue near Mansfield Road. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. There'll be a thunderstorm around this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
It seems .101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. Erin's on vacation. We have discussed at some length over the last few days the whole bond thing Louise, it's just so confusing, and I hardly know where to start because we had Jay Darden on Tuesday talking about it. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Moody's Investor Services gave us an upgrade pertaining to our financial outlook. Mm-hmm. Our financial outlook, Louisiana's financial outlook, was upgraded from a negative to stable.
We went to dumpster fire to...
to smoldering, smelly pile. By the way, did you dig up that little soundbite that I wanted from Jay Darden from Tuesday?
I did. What did I do with it?
Do you still have that?
I do. I just got to find it.
You know, it's and I'm willing on some level to give Mr. Jay Darden, Commissioner of Administration for the state of Louisiana, the benefit of the doubt. But if you recall, during all, and let me reiterate, during all of the special sessions, there were critics of the governor, what I call that trinity of no, and I say that, and I am bowing in their direction. I am bowing toward Bossier City, toward Raymond Cruz. I am bowing toward Houghton in the direction of Dodie Horton. I am bowing toward Shreveport, well, southeast, and Alan Seabaugh. No, no, no. They said every step of the way, the state has enough revenue, the bureaucracy has enough money, let it figure out what to do with it. Let it better allocate its funds and services. More money from the taxpayers of Louisiana, they said, with their votes, are not needed, is not needed. And one of the things that kept coming up, specifically from Representative Seabaugh, is he said this whole fiscal cliff, this whole budget crisis, he said, it doesn't exist. He said it's a creation. It's a manufactured crisis by the governor and his minions in that bureaucracy. And so when we had Commissioner Darden on the other morning, well, here, you have the sound bite, right?
I do.
Now, I don't know, and remember what Alan and a number of others said. This fiscal cliff, this budget, it's not real. It's created. They're making it up. They're working the room to get more money from you, the taxpayer, so they can expand government. Now, remembering those words from Representative Seabaugh and others, listen to this. What is it, about a 10 or 12-second cut?
It's like 20 seconds, so it's got a little setup.
From Commissioner Darden on Tuesday. And when you are listening to him, think of the words from Representative Seabaugh that I just mentioned.
Well, it doesn't change on a set time. It basically, they react when they see something happening in the marketplace or something happening in the economy or something happening with your tax situation. So when we created this cliff and have been staring at this cliff for 27 months, they moved us to a negative watch, meaning they were concerned about our long-term financial stability.
Did he say when we created this cliff? I mean,
Well, he said when we created this cliff, but I think what he was trying to say is he was using we as in the royal we, as in everyone in government wants all these programs funded but don't have the money for it.
Look, I'm not going to say that's 100% wrong. But based on everything that has been said by our fiscally conservative, responsible legislators, when the commissioner of administration comes in and you can, well, when we created this cliff. What? We created the cliff? And then what Mr. J told us was, in pertaining to this Moody's upgrade, and this was what I still have a hard time grasping, is that Jay said that the biggest reason that Moody's upgraded Louisiana is because we have a new sales tax, 4.45% for 7 years. Isn't that basically what he said? Mm-hmm. And in a circuitous but not necessarily endorsing way is what Treasurer Schroeder said this morning. So my question was, and I wrote it down, so we have the 4.45% sales tax for 7 years. And Mr. J said the steady stream of money to the state is the biggest reason that Moody's gave us the upgrade. But what difference does it make how much money the state has, how much money the state takes in if we spend it all? I.e., if there's nothing in the checking account, does it make a difference how much money you make? And I guess according to Moody's, it really doesn't. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Here's your KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Take a deep breath. You've been outside. Is it clouding up yet? Partly to mostly cloudy today. Chance of rain, heavy at times, low 90s. Right now it's 83 at KEEL. 850 your money now.
Oh, no, the blues.
101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, it's 8:55. Erin back on Monday. I've said to Matt a million times, I've said it to a bunch about Facebook, and I showed him the picture. How is it possible that there's somebody on Facebook with whom I could have 636 mutual friends? Let me say that again. 636 mutual friends. And I swear to you, I have no idea who this person is.
Well, in real life, I can think of people who are, hey, blank. They go to here and they go there. Well, I go all those places, but I have no idea who this person is.
I mean, I just wonder how many degrees of separation it is from me and her in reality that we could have 636 common people, and I've never even heard her name.
Well, she's not Kevin Bacon, but you never know.
Okay. Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Yay! Your AM signal is back in East Texas. Yes.
It's back everywhere, baby.
The 50,000 watt transmitter was, when did they turned it on Monday,
and I think they had to iron out a few
adjustments.
things. Yeah.
And so it is blazing since, I guess, middle of the day on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yep, completely installed Tuesday p.m. Hooray! And thanks for sticking with us. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. In the meantime, here's Kim Commando on Keel.
Here's a note to lawmakers. If you want to make our highways safer right now, then follow the lead from the states of Georgia and Washington. Kim Commando with your Monday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe. Home security done right. SimpliSafe.com/Kim. Remember that Uber self-driving car accident in Arizona that killed a pedestrian? The car's safety driver was streaming NBC's The Voice while driving. But in Georgia, there's a new law. In addition to texting, drivers are also banned from streaming video. They can't hold or support a wireless device in any way with their bodies. 6 months ago, the state of Washington passed an even tougher law. Drivers can't even sneak a peek at stoplights or when backed up in traffic. 45 others banned texting while driving. My home state of Arizona, I'm ashamed to say, bans texting only by novice drivers, whatever that means. Lawmakers, it's time to get serious. Follow the path of Georgia and Washington. Get the laws in place now. I'm Kim Commando. I'm going to take a moment and just be blunt. The home security industry has burned far too many with costly systems, contracts full of legal mumbo-jumbo, and expensive monthly monitoring charges that are harder to get out of than a bad cell phone contract. The home security system that you and your family need is made by SimpliSafe, the fastest and most powerful home security system there is without contracts. Instead, SimpliSafe works hard to earn your business with affordable 24/7 monitoring, police and fire dispatch. Say an intruder tries to disable a SimpliSafe system. The system will know, and the police will still come, and fast. It's encrypted. It's built to protect. And the cost? Only $15 a month with no contracts. SimpliSafe. Just open the box, plug it in. Your protection starts right away. No drilling, no wires. Visit SimpliSafeKim.com now to order your home security system today. That's SimpliSafeKim.com.
.101.7 FM's. No, I don't have to hurry. I've got plenty of time.
I didn't say you did.
101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Now hurry. Go.
8:59. Here's traffic.
The intersection at Texas Avenue and Murphy Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Midway Avenue near Mansfield Road. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Partly sunny today. There'll be a thunderstorm around this afternoon with a high of 94. Partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm tonight, low 76. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.